Boilermakers are the hottest team in the Big Ten Conference, winners of 4 straight games. But the top team in the Big Ten comes calling tonight, the 7th-ranked Michigan Wolverines. It's Big Ten basketball on a Friday night on FS1. Kevin Kugler alongside Stephen Bartle welcoming you to Mackey Arena, where Purdue got some bad news. Sasha Stefanovic has tested positive for COVID-19. He is not only out tonight, he's going to miss the next 3 games with Big Ten COVID-19 protocols. Sasha Stefanovic out means a change in the starting lineup, and the hero of Tuesday night, Jaden Ivey, the freshman who hit the game-winning shot against Ohio State, gets the nod for the Boilermakers against a formidable group of Wolverines who have lost just 1 game all season long. It's time for our keys to the game, brought to you by Lincoln.
Well, Kevin, you talked about that one loss of Michigan. In that game, they had 20 turnovers. Sometimes they can get loose with the basketball, so they have to limit turnovers. Purdue, on the other side, keep Travion Williams out of foul trouble in the first half. He's been dominant in the second half, but against this Hunter Dickinson and this front line of the Wolverines, they've got to keep him out of foul trouble.
We are ready to get this one underway, and a matchup in the middle that I know we're going to be keeping our eye on all night long between Travion Williams and Hunter Dickinson. And can Dickinson keep up with Williams, and can Williams keep on the floor? His first halves have been a real problem of the last 4 games with fouls. Right inside it goes to Dickinson, and the first 2 points of the night belong to Michigan.
Yeah, with an assist from Jaden Ivey and Travion Williams there. But that's a really good set play to get Hunter Dickinson point-blank range.
Really had a rough night on Tuesday against Maryland. Just 3 points, only 1 for 3 from the floor. And the drive inside by Ivey is cleaned up down low. Or even up to 2 apiece as Williams gets his first 2.
That's a nice job on the offensive glass. Dickinson goes for the block, Kevin, but his teammates got to come on the backside and seal that off. It didn't happen.
Smith sealed off on the baseline. Michigan has to reset with Eli Brooks. Smith working against Brandon Newman. Up and under move, rebounded by Newman.
Redshirt freshman Newman using his 6'5" frame to bother Smith on that release.
There's Eric Hunter Jr. around the Williams screen. Finds Jaden Ivey. The 3 way off, and the rebound to Brooks.
I was always told by my college coach, you don't want to have your first shot be a 3-pointer.
Isaiah Livers' first shot is a 2 to give Michigan the early advantage. On the drive, nothing there. Good wall up inside by the big man Hunter Dickinson.
I'd give it, well, Brooks had an open shot, but I would have given it back to Dickinson. You got your big man working hard, you want to reward him.
Extra pass, Brooks will try the 3 in the corner, and that's good for Michigan, and a fast start for the Wolverines, up 7-2.
This is such a veteran group talking about Michigan. They had that one hiccup on the road at Minnesota, very difficult place to play. They respect their opponent. You can tell by the way they've come out and really focused.
Travion Williams against Dickinson. Trying to take the youngster to school, and that shot off the mark. Wagner with the rebound, and he'll push it up the floor. Nice balance, and the step through, a little Euro step for Dickinson, but a travel and a turnover back to Purdue. Not a bad guy to have coach you, especially if you're a young big man like Hunter Dickinson. Juwan Howard, we've watched him, Stephen, over his first couple of years with Michigan, and he works a lot individually with those bigs. That's some really cool instruction if you're a big man.
You got that right. A long-time NBA veteran, a long-time assistant coach at the next level, and Isaiah Livers talked about it. He said, hey, quietly, this is where all of us want to be, is at the next level, and there's no one better to get you ready for that than Juwan Howard.
Jaden Ivey with his first personal foul. Yeah, we spoke with Isaiah Livers earlier today and said, yeah, we listened to him. You and I saw this a couple weeks ago in a game, and you pointed it out, Stephen, that when that huddle happens, those players all lock eyes eyes with Juwan Howard. They don't look around. They're not looking down. They are locked in on what he is saying. And we were talking about with Isaiah Livers today, and he said, absolutely, he's been where we all want to be. We're going to listen to what he has to say as Livers will get himself to the line.
Man, that was a really good drive by Livers. He didn't get it to fall. You can see his frustration, and then went back and got the miss. So Matt Painter told us today, if you give Michigan offensive rebounds and you give them fast break points, they are very difficult to beat. Purdue has got to clean up the glass.
One more from Livers at the line. Zach Edey into the game for the first time. 7'4" freshman for Purdue. Williams leaves after picking up his first personal foul.
It'll be interesting to see if Purdue chooses to utilize Zach Edey and go right at Hunter Dickinson and see what they can get done here with him just coming, with Edey just now coming into the game.
Purdue 1 for 5 to start this ballgame. The handoff to Jaden Ivey. There's Newman driving inside, off the window, no good. Long rebound, kicks out to Ivey. He'll use the baseline. Extra pass out to the wing for a 3. Pinball's out. Good tip out by Edey. And a nice look inside to find the cutting Aaron Wheeler.
Well, that's nice hustle plays by the Boilers that time, giving themselves extra opportunities. You know, struggling from the field, as you just referenced, Kevin. You got to manufacture multiple opportunities. Boilers did that.
A lot of offensive rebounds early. That means a lot of missed shots in this ballgame. Livers. Here's Brooks with 4 to shoot. That 3 into the arms of Edey.
It's so interesting that Zach Edey is so big that he collects, I would guess, about 15 to 20% of his rebounds, Kevin, without leaving the floor like that last time.
That's something, 7'4", but he's got his match with Hunter Dickinson at 7'1", and Dickinson pokes that one free. Break now for Michigan as Wagner, after hesitation, feeds the big man inside. Shot won't go, and Ivey will start it the other way. Doesn't have numbers, and Ivey doesn't care. Draws the contact from Brooks, and a foul will take us to our first media timeout. 15-15 remaining in the first half. Top team in the Big Ten with the early lead. Michigan with a 9-4 lead. If you're joining us late, Purdue without Sasha Stefanovic, who tested positive for COVID-19. Our Andy Katz tweeting, one of the questions you probably have, why aren't the Boilers on pause? Purdue says extensive protocols were followed. No cumulative 15 minutes of contact, masks everywhere, no eating on bus or planes. Everyone had their own room, daily testing. That is why, even with a positive test for COVID-19, Purdue feels confident that there is no risk to themselves or to the team they are playing, the Michigan Wolverines. And Stephen, we don't know the protocols, but we do know without Sasha Stefanovic, that takes a big offensive threat off the floor for Purdue.
There's no doubt about it. The second leading scorer, but also, Kevin, Stefanovic is one of the better wing defenders in the Big Ten Conference. And with the offensive firepower that the Wolverines possess, that is a key loss on both ends of the floor for Purdue.
He will miss at minimum the next 3 Purdue games. They have an 8-day break, essentially, after this ball game before they play again. One of those 3 games he's missing includes tonight. Wheeler, with the shot clock winding, had to fire that shot up, and Smith the rebound for Michigan.
That time, Isaiah Thompson just got too deep on the penetration, didn't know what he wanted to do, and really ate up the majority of that shot clock possession.
Livers on the drive, blocked by Edey and kept in play by Edey. Really nice block by the freshman.
Oh, you got to get it back to him. Oh, man. There you go.
There he is, and there's a whistle and a foul. That shot will be waved off. Dickinson called for the foul. But let's go back to the defensive end for the freshman.
See, to me, this is one of the better plays that you're going to see out of any 7-footer. To block the shot, to keep it in bounds, keep the balance, and then go back down and work Hunter Dickinson into a foul. That is a great sequence for Zach Edey.
I think called that foul, at least initially, on Brooks, which is his second. Not sure how that foul was on Brooks, but that's the initial ruling on that. And now we've got an official timeout, as Brooks is still down on the other end of the floor.
Zach Edey landed right on Eli Brooks when Brooks was going to box out. Look at Brooks. He's battling. Boom. Right on top of him. Paul Sales is right there. Didn't call a foul. I kind of like the no call. It's just physical basketball play. But when Zach Edey at 285 lands directly on you, for Eli Brooks, he's going to need a chance to collect himself.
And they have changed that foul. It is on Dickinson, his first. Brooks with a foul, and now a little bit of pain on the sidelines as the 6'1" guard tried to box out the 7'4" center.
Tell you what, Kevin, he's paying for it, but he did his job. You know, this is a tough guy. He's lost a tooth earlier in the Big Ten slate, so Eli Brooks, no stranger to physical play.
The wraparound pass inside to Austin Davis, who just came back from the plantar fascia injury a couple of games ago. January 12, he returned.
Kevin, I thought Austin Davis was outstanding against Maryland. I mean, every time he got the basketball, he was aggressive and made things happen 4 or 5 from the field.
He is physical, really giving Edey a lot underneath, and that ball out of bounds. It'll stay with Purdue.
No, I really like Austin Davis and what he brings to this team. He's physical. He understands what his coaching staff is asking of him. And the thing that you'll notice, Kevin, he's exhausted. And when he goes to the bench, he doesn't leave anything on the floor.
I love that. One of the leaders on this team was a starter in the first 5 games of the season before the injury, now working himself back into play shape. As Williams working against him on the baseline, tried to follow his own miss twice, couldn't get it done, and now Michigan will start it up the floor with Wagner. Wagner around that Davis screen all the way to the rim. That's not going to go, and then tipped out of bounds. Last touched by Ethan Morton, and it will stay with Michigan up 5.
Ethan Morton with the quizzical look on his face, like, wait a minute. How'd that go out? How was that out on me?
He's wondering where the offense went right now. Michigan 0 for their last 7, Purdue 0 for their last 5. That'll break one drought as Davis gets his first 2.
Telling you what, Kevin, Michigan went right at Williams that time, trying to pick up that second foul. Davis doing a really good job of forcing him to play defense.
It has been a continual problem for Travion Williams in the first half of games. Matt Painter talked about it with us again today, and he said it's just reaching fouls. It's nothing. He's fouling, and it's not bad calls. It's just bad fouls. And Williams going to work on the baseline. That's a good move, but he couldn't get the drop, and now Livers will start it up. In the corner, it's Smith, the 3. And a timeout taken by Matt Painter and Purdue as Michigan has stretched the lead to 10, 14-4. Mike Smith getting it done from the corner.
Well, I'll tell you what, good defense leads to better offense. Mike Smith, the recipient in the corner pocket.
14-4 to Michigan. Matt Painter has seen this a lot. It's been a weird thing. They've got a 4-game win streak going on, Stephen. But in the first half during that 4-game win streak, has been outscored by 16 points. And then in the second half, they've outscored their opponents by 39 points. So nothing that's happened so far has surprised Matt Painter to this point.
No, it's unusual until you look at the makeup of Purdue's roster. And 4 freshmen are getting a lot of playing time. So anytime you're relying on freshmen, you're going to have some uncertainty and inconsistency.
Well, that's nice from Ivy, and Williams gets the flush. Was just 1 for 5 from the floor before that shot, but really nice action off the timeout.
That was really good execution. Ivy getting into the paint. And Purdue doing a good job of getting into the paint area. They just haven't converted.
One of the areas that Isaiah Livers told us in his analysis earlier of this game that Michigan needed to do a good job defending that paint. They needed to get in there as well, as Wagner's shot won't go. The tip by Davis wouldn't work, and Mason Gillis able to track down the loose ball. Quick attack. Ivy inside with the scoop. A little confidence from the freshman after his game winner on Tuesday.
I want our viewers, Kevin, to watch both Jaden Ivey for Purdue and Franz Wagner for Michigan. Both of these guys have strides that eat up the floor. They look like they're jogging, but they're getting past their defenders.
Davis to work against Williams, and the 2 drops for Austin Davis. He has 4.
Austin Davis picking up right where he left off last game, being very aggressive on the offensive end.
Turnover back to Michigan.
Watch Ivy get in the lane, and he looks like he's just, out just jogging a little bit, gets to rock over to Travion Williams, but then watch his stride. Just explodes. Gets to the rim, nice finger roll and concentration.
Talking with Matt Painter about his freshman Jaden Ivey earlier today, and he said something that I thought was really interesting, Stephen, and I know you've seen this before, but he said he is off the charts talented, but as a freshman right now, his talent is over his production. And I thought that was a really interesting way to put it, because he has such belief in what he's going to be, but he's not there yet as a freshman.
No, I totally agree with you. And that was something that stuck out with me. That's why, Kevin, we are so fortunate to talk to these coaches on a regular basis, and they trust us enough to give us nuggets like that. That's a great nugget. It sounds simple. Talent over production right now. But when the production supersedes the talent, now you got a player in your hands, and they expect Ivy to do just that.
Wagner with the 3. That's not going to go. And Purdue Boilermakers have hit their last 3 shots, down 6, as Hunter will bring it up. Hunter backing it out to Ivy, almost the same spot where he hit the game winner Tuesday in Columbus on that right wing, but Wagner with the rebound.
Didn't particularly care for that shot by Jaden Ivey. I think he could have gotten a better look in that scenario. However, freshman is gaining confidence.
And an offensive foul on the screen set by Brandon Johns. Hunter Dickinson gets the call on that one. Johns had the screen, but Hunter Dickinson picks up the foul. That's his second.
I tell you what, Kevin, Jaden Ivey just got a tongue lashing from Travion Williams. Travion went and grabbed his jersey and got in his face. Did not like something that Jaden did. Maybe didn't like that last shot. But I like that type of leadership. When your coach has to say everything, you're not a very good team. When you're a player-led team, you're much better.
Ivy enters it to match for the big man, and he knew what to do with it when he secured it.
Oh, I love the fundamentals. Kept it high. There was a lot of traffic in there, a lot of hands. Was able to corral it and finish with authority. Big fella making his presence felt early here.
Michigan hasn't scored in over 2 minutes. They'll go to Davis to try to change that. Against Edey. Davis with the hook. So smooth. The veteran has 6 off the bench.
And you go into the scouting report talking about Hunter Dickinson, and then all of a sudden Austin Davis comes off the bench and is hurting.
Curling into the paint, and he draws the contact. He'll go to the line for a pair.
Well, you got Edey. Watch how he keeps the ball high. There's a lot of traffic there, contact. He fights through and finishes. Look at Davis, sizing him up, throws a head fake. He doesn't go for it, just goes to a jump hook. That is really nice play by both big fellas right now on the floor.
So as we touted the big man matchup of Travion Williams versus Hunter Dickinson, of course, the highlight package is Austin Davis and Zach Edey.
Yeah. Isn't that how that works? Any night in the Big Ten.
Just shows you the depth of these teams to have that kind of depth in the post. And in any other league, it might surprise you, but in this league, it's just post-filled again this season.
Yes, it is. And to me, Kevin, is nice because the game is changing, obviously, on multiple levels, but it's good to see the big man have a prominent position in college basketball.
Livers with a look for three, and Livers hits it from deep. And Michigan now up by 7.
I still think Isaiah Livers is too unselfish. I really think he could be close to a 20-a-night type score. And Michigan's so talented, they got to spread the wealth around, but Livers is so talented.
He's got 7 points in the early going for Michigan. That lead is 7 in Mackey. Michigan up 7, 7:41 remaining first half. Kevin Kugler alongside Stephen Barty. You mentioned it a moment ago. This is what happened between Travion Williams, a little teaching moment from the junior to the freshman Jaden Ivey.
I mean, he gets after him. And Jaden Ivey was going to try to walk away, and Travion Williams like, hey, young fella, hold on for a second. I'm not done yet. And he got his point across emphatically. And this is what I'm talking about. This is why coaches and programs in the Big Ten, you want to grow old and stay old because you want your upperclassmen to do the things that a coach may sometimes do. But if you've got one of your better players getting after your other players, then the coach's job is a lot easier.
And a turnover off the timeout. It'll belong to Michigan again. When you want a program, and that's why Purdue's a winning program, Michigan's a winning program, the players take ownership of these moments, and the players hand it down generation to generation, really, and it's up to those guys. They police themselves a little bit on the floor. You see that in the best programs all across the country.
I agree, Kevin, and they have to because the margin of error is so thin in the Big Ten Conference that you got to have everything working in your favor to compete for a title.
Davis, stay with it. Needy says no. The rejection by the freshman. Purdue to work. Gillis with the fake. Ivey against Johns. At the elbow. Tough shot for Newman. And the rebound tracked down by Eli Brooks.
Newman likes that 14 to 17-foot range. He usually likes it coming off the bounce, though. So I think he was a little off balance on that release.
The entry to Davis gets the double. Passes out of it to a cutting Brooks who gets the 2.
Boy, did you see Michigan respond to the first double on the post of the game? They were spaced properly. Eli Brooks goes right to the bucket, receives the pass, and finishes. That's really good execution. Watch the spacing of Michigan. They're all outside of 3. They see the double coming. Hunter goes and closes off the backside. Brooks reading it perfectly, cuts right down the lane. Could have been an and one opportunity.
And you got a grad student in Austin Davis who knew exactly what to do. The senior cutting and Eli Brooks who knew exactly what to do. Grow old and stay old, right, Stephen?
That's right. And, you know, when you have these type of guys that have been around the program and buy into their roles, that's what makes Michigan so difficult to beat.
Purdue 0 for 4 from 3 in this first half. No Sasha Stefanovic out with COVID-19 as Williams inside has it knocked away. Shawnee Brown will start it up the floor for Michigan. Brooks on the attack to the rim.
Boy, I tell you what, Eli Brooks saw the freshman Ethan Morton guarding him, and his eyes got big as saucers. As soon as he caught the rock, hard run to the rim.
First half points for Eli Brooks. Here's Ivey on the curl to the rim, off the mark. Rebound tipped out to Brooks. Michigan on the run again. 7-0 run. Livers off the hesitation, has to back it out.
Tell you what, Ethan Morton made up right there. He did a good job of cutting Livers off on that drive. Allow the rest of his teammates to get back defensively.
Here's Brooks. 10 on the shot clock for Michigan. Jumper over Williams is off, and Purdue going the other way with Wheeler.
I bet Juwan Howard would have wanted Johns to put a little bit more of a challenge on Williams that time instead of selling for the jumper.
Jaden Ivey bumped on the perimeter by Sean D. Brown for Brown, his first.
This is what makes Michigan so good. They understand what personnel they have on the floor, so they double-team Williams, force the miss, and then look at Brooks. Oh, I thought that was on Morton. That was actually on Wheeler. Aaron Wheeler got left on the perimeter with the dribble drive.
This Michigan team does almost everything well. Points, they defend, they shoot the ball, they hold teams down shooting. Tonight, Purdue shooting just 27% from the floor. It's hard to find a weakness for this Michigan team, Stephen.
Yeah, I don't think there really is a glaring weakness. I mean, we saw 20 turnovers at Minnesota, but Eli Brooks didn't play that game. A primary ball handler was out. So, you know, you can nitpick all you want to, but there's a reason why they're top 10 in both defensive and offensive efficiency in Ken Palm's analytics.
Yeah, the number 4 team in the country in the Ken Palm rankings. 7th in adjusted offense, 8th in adjusted defense. Tonight, the offense hasn't been as solid, and you give Purdue credit. It's a really good defensive team that Purdue has as well. But even when your offense isn't clicking, you can find a little bit of help from the other areas. And when you're in this elite company, these are the only 3 teams that are top 10 right now in Ken Palm's adjusted offense and defense rankings. And we've seen Baylor this year. They're one of the best teams in college basketball. You know Virginia is going to have something to say. They're still the defending national champs after the tournament was canceled last year. And this Michigan team seems to do a little bit of everything well.
And they've got depth, Kevin, through the Wolverines that, you know, they can just keep coming at you with waves.
A little push here from Isaiah Thompson. Corner, the 3 from Ivey rolls off, no good. And Livers with the rebound. 1 and done go the Boilermakers. No field goals in 4.5 minutes for Purdue.
You see right there, Purdue hasn't hit a 3 yet. Yet they're still in decent position.
Good position from Brandon Johns Jr. coming off his best game of the season on Tuesday night against Maryland. He had 11 points and really gave Michigan great effort.
And you talk about that effort, Kevin. 4 or 6 from the field. When you look at he and Austin Davis in that game, 8 of 11 from the field combined.
Not bad work off the bench. Brandon Johns Jr. and Michigan force another turnover. It's their ball when we return.
Rob Stone with you coming up at halftime. Casey Jacobson joins me to break down what's been a bit of an unexpected first half between Michigan and Purdue, plus highlights from one of the 6 remaining undefeated teams in Division I. Kevin, Stephen, we'll see you guys at the break.
Michigan's largest lead of the game, Rob Stone, 27-15 as the league leaders at 7-1 try to extend that lead. Iowa losing last night to Indiana at home. Purdue, the hottest team in the conference, coming in on a 4-game winning streak and a 6-0 record at home. But that record very much in jeopardy tonight with Michigan clamping down on the Boilermakers, holding them to just 26% shooting on the evening, and a really nice move by Wagner to extend the lead to 14.
Great illustration of his length. Ethan Morton thought he was in good position. Initially he was, but then he just reached out along the baseline and got to the rim. Excellent job.
The curl to the rim, and that'll break the spell. No field goals for 5.5 minutes before that Eric Hunter layup.
Paint touches are always positive. Hunter recognizing that.
Trying to dump it into traffic. That's a turnover by Wagner.
And you see
the 3rd Michigan turnover.
And you see what Michigan's doing. They're putting Franz Wagner in the post, taking advantage of his 3-inch height advantage over Ethan Morton. See if Purdue adjusts.
Here's Wheeler knifing to the rim. That won't go, and the rebound tipped into the hands of Terrence Williams. And the freshman will bring it up the floor. Brooks around the Williams screen. Jump past to Wagner for the open three. And Williams able to corral that rebound for Purdue.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Isaiah Thompson was guarding Wagner that time. Michigan didn't recognize it.
Here's Livers on the other end of the floor, and Livers able to flush it home.
Live ball turnovers will really get you buried against the Michigan Wolverines.
6 turnovers tonight for Purdue, 6 points off those turnovers so far for Michigan. Thompson on the drive with the left hand, gets 2 more on the board.
Well, Purdue's figured something out. Going left, down the lane, Hunter the first time, Thompson this time. Purdue doing a better job of getting to the rim.
Attacking. Extra pass. Brown for 3, and that'll lodge in between the backboard and the rim.
Take a look here. Eric Hunter loses it. Livers could have let it go out of bounds. He doesn't. Converts at the other end. And then watch Thompson keep it in his left. Gets his shoulder by Brooks and able to go off the glass. And then Shawnee Brown, somebody closed the door.
Gotta get some points, Stephen, for being able to lodge the ball in between the backboard and the rim. I mean, that's a trick shot. You get a 1.5 or something for that.
No, Kevin, that's simply a brick. you should get points taken away for that.
Stephen Bardo, a much more difficult judge than Kevin Kugler, clearly. I'm handing out points. Bardo's given a 2.0. Smith cross it over. Livers firing from deep, and he hits again. Livers with 12 first half points, and Michigan up by 15.
So we've seen yet again that Hunter Dickinson comes out. He gets a lot of attention, but it doesn't matter because Michigan is so thorough. Livers picking up the mantle here in the first half.
Thompson in traffic, and that floats home. He's got 4. Tough shot. Michigan will hold for the final shot. And a timeout first with 9.4 seconds remaining in this first half.
Well, Michigan, understanding the difficulty it is coming into Mackey Arena trying to get a victory, they were locked and loaded from the tip. And even with Dickinson not playing a lot of minutes, they haven't missed a beat.
I will point out Stephen Bardo because we want everyone to stay with us here on FS1. Purdue already this season has won 3 games this year when trailing by 11 or more points. They were down at halftime to Valparaiso 34-23. They won the game. They were down 33-16 to Michigan State with 18:58 to play. They won the game by 1. They were down 32-21 on Tuesday to Ohio State, and they won 67-65. So this team is a second-half team. They've been a second-half team all year long, and they're going to have to be again if they're going to hold serve on their home floor.
We would start with a stop in this possession because if Michigan can score here, that's a huge momentum boost.
Brooks will inbound to Smith. Smith, and the foul is given. It's the 3rd team foul. Purdue's got plenty of fouls to give here as we get to the end of the first half.
Man, what a luxury right here. Michigan better catch it going to the shooting motion.
Smith again, driving inside, bumped, ball loose, and it'll go out of bounds, and it'll belong to Purdue.
Wow, Mike Smith was so quick to get to the bucket. I thought Thompson was going to maybe try to foul him again, but he got past him so quickly, wasn't able to.
And halftime arrives in West Lafayette. Our score, 7th-ranked Michigan 34, Purdue 21. After the break, we'll send it to our FS1 studios in Los Angeles for the halftime report with Rob Stone and Casey Jacobson. Michigan up 13 at the break. Fewest points Michigan has allowed in a first half this year has them up 34-21 as we get set to start the second half. Kevin Kugler alongside Stephen Bardo. Why are they on top? Well, one of the reasons, Stephen, is the play in the first half of Isaiah Livers.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, and he stepped up in lieu of Hunter Dickinson struggling coming out of the gate. Catch and shoot, no hesitation there. Same thing here. Nice job by Wagner giving him a little bit of airspace. Comes up with a steal. Could have let it go out of bounds, but picks it up and does the rest. Finishes at the rim. Outstanding first half for him. And then on the other side, Purdue has been able to stay within striking distance because they've gotten into the paint. 16 paint points right there. Nice penetration. Thompson and Hunter did well getting into the bucket. Edey doing a good job of keeping it high and finishing strong.
Purdue in striking distance, and for a lot of teams, maybe they wouldn't be in striking distance, but in the 4-game winning streak, second half has been huge for Purdue. They've outscored their opponents in the last 4 games by 39 points in the second half, and overall in the year, 3 wins this year when they've been down by 11 points or more. They're going to have to mount another comeback here if they want to keep their winning streak, which is currently at 4, alive, moving on into what is an 8-day break for Purdue. Here's Dickinson to work right out of the start of the second half, and his first points of the ball game give Michigan the 15-point lead.
Really good set play to get Dickinson one-on-one in the post. Looked like Williams went for the fake. Hunter Dickinson with a wide-open look.
Hard dribbles backing down against Dickinson. The shot won't go. Bodies on the floor as Williams gets it back. His shot misses again, and Livers cleans it up.
It's a little unusual there, Kevin. It's almost like Williams froze a little bit and then tried to go up from a squatted position.
No freezing for Livers. He is red hot. 15 for Isaiah Livers. 3 for 4 from 3, and Michigan by 18.
See, this is what makes Michigan so good. They could be up 15. They're not going to let up. They're going to keep coming at you. They don't care what the score is.
Williams doubled on that baseline. Newman will launch from deep, and Newman hits the first 3 of the evening for a Purdue Boilermaker. They started 0 for 6.
And that was big, too, because Newman was scoreless against Ohio State in their last game. So from a confidence standpoint, that's got to help.
Dickinson fouled. He's going to go to the line for a pair.
Well, the big fella's got plenty of, he's got plenty of gas. Didn't play that much in the first half, but now Michigan reestablishing him here in the second.
Ivy, his second, and Dickinson only played 8 minutes in that first half with 1 more free throw. The last 2 games have not been where Dickinson set the bar early, Stephen, but that's to be expected. You know, a freshman in the league. Now there's a lot of tape on him. Teams are catching up to him now to make that next adjustment to the adjustment made across this league.
That's a great point, and that's a lot of respect for a young man that's done very well to start off his career.
Ivy trying to muscle it up against Dickinson. That's a tough ask. Able to get the rebound, and he'll bring it back out.
You can see that Jaden Ivey can do some things on the floor that a lot of players can't, just by God-given ability. And when he puts it all together, he's going to be a handful.
Good rebound by Livers. That was strong. 6th board of the night. Dickinson against Williams, and Williams pokes it free from the freshman.
Trevion Williams is so good defensively. Doesn't get a lot of credit, but quick hands.
Oh, hello, Newman. 3 and 3 for Newman on the last 2 trips down, and it's a 13-point game. Dickinson, the handoff, the hesitation, and back it goes for the elbow jumper. The rebound off the miss by Gillis.
That was a nice job of icing that ball screen action, forcing it baseline and nullifying its effectiveness.
Really good play by Franz Wagner, trying to swat away Newman. He succeeds and brings it up. Wagner on the attack. Nothing there. Gillis, the rebound.
If Purdue hustles, they got numbers.
Hunter hustling all the way, using the window, and here come the Boilermakers, down 11.
Well, Franz Wagner on that miss, he hit the back standard and kind of stuck there for a second, allowing Purdue to get a numbers advantage on that possession.
Dickinson sets the screen for Smith. Smith leaving it for the big man, but he couldn't pull it in. Hunter now on the push for Purdue. End-to-end, Hunter to the rim. That won't go. Wild shot. And Smith now looking to accelerate, and a bump by Newman. And the foul on Brandon Newman, his first.
Let's go back a couple plays ago, Kevin. There's Wagner. He gets stuck a little bit. You see Paul Sells check on him. And then Eric Hunter doing what guards do. They follow the big through up their back. So you saw Dickinson running back defensively, Kevin, but he wasn't looking. Hunter took advantage, got all the way to the bucket.
Michigan hasn't scored in 2.5 minutes. The lead is 11. Austin Davis, who had a very good first half back on the floor, and Davis couldn't handle the pass off his leg, and a turnover right back to Purdue. Already the third turnover of the second half for Michigan, and that's been one of the few things that have plagued Juwan Howard's team this year. Turnovers have been something he's been concerned about.
Yeah, and, you know, that time, that's 3 turnovers with his bigs involved. So that's a little concerning.
And a foul on Austin Davis, reaching through Edey to try to knock that one away. Takes us to the first media timeout of the second half in West Lafayette. East after a COVID stoppage. Creighton has lost 2 straight. UConn has played exceptionally well. They lost earlier in the week to St. John's, and they're trying to figure out, can they surge enough without leading scorer James Bouknight, who is out with an elbow injury that he suffered on January 5th. Should be a good one in Omaha on Saturday on Fox.
Yeah, that UConn team is a tough group of customers. I mean, they come at you. And St. John's starting to flex their muscles in the Big East as well.
Inbound tip to Ivy. And Ivy turning the corner, loping to the rim, won't go. Edey there, and a foul.
Oh, Austin Davis he's beside himself. He's like, man, I'm trying to box out 7'4", 285, and I get the foul?
And his fourth as well. So Davis, how's that mine? And a foul on the inbound going against Purdue, and that's Wheeler with his first. So away from the ball, Aaron Wheeler picks up a personal foul, and Michigan gets it right back. Wolverines haven't scored in 3 minutes. Smith leaving it for Livers. That was beautiful, and Livers finishing at the rim.
I'll tell you what, Isaiah Livers knows where the weight room is, because that was not an easy finish in traffic through contact.
We talked with him earlier today. He said all he did during the pandemic was work out. Every single day he worked out. So he is a lot stronger than he was before it started. One upside to a very down time.
Great point, Kevin. It shows as well.
Ivy getting to the rim, and count the bucket. He'll go to the line for a chance at a three-point play. And Jaden Ivey building on the heroics of Tuesday night.
And see, Kevin, that's what I like to see from this young man, because to me, his three-point shot is still very inconsistent, but he's probably the best athlete on the floor. So he could put a lot more pressure on Michigan getting into the paint area and creating, as opposed to settling for three-point shots.
He got a lot of good coaching. His mom, Neil, is the women's basketball coach at Notre Dame, longtime assistant to the legend Muffet McGraw. And you talk about some pretty good lessons to learn throughout his childhood. 10-point game, Smith on the attack, and that's going to count. They'll call goaltending against Zach Edey, and the lead grows to 12.
Mike Smith does this as well as any guard in the Big Ten. Gets to the rim and gets it on the glass before the big can respond. Saw him do that against Maryland the other night as well. So Mike Smith got some offensive game to him. He hasn't had to utilize it much here with Michigan, but he's got it.
Ivey faked the pass and then got caught in the air, didn't know where to go, and the turnover delivers. Wagner around the screen from the bounce to the Cutter Brooks, and an easy 2 at the end of the play for Eli Brooks, and what a feed from the top of the key.
I tell you what, man, Eli Brooks is tough to guard because if you just turn your head for a second, he's cut. He knows how to space. He understands what's asked of him. Let's take a look at the back door. Look at Newman. Caught ball watching. All of a sudden, a timely cut by Brooks. Heads up play by Wagner. Sweet pocket pass. That's high-level execution.
And you're seeing Michigan take advantage at times of some of the youngsters on the floor for Purdue. Brandon Newman, the freshman. Jaden Ivey, the freshman. Both maybe getting a little more time tonight in rotation because no Sasha Stefanovic. If you're joining us late, the junior tested positive for COVID-19. He is out for at least 3 games over the next couple of weeks for Purdue as Travion Williams has it blocked out of bounds.
That's a very good point, Kevin, because you take out Sasha Stefanovic, who's a junior, and now you're playing more freshman minutes. And so with a team like Michigan that's stellar defensively, they're going to force you, some of those freshmen, into tough, difficult situations, and we've seen a lot of turnovers like that.
And from a freshman, that's Ethan Morton who turns it over. Wagner able to pick his pocket.
I'm going back to Wagner if I'm Michigan. Oh, and Wagner's pouting right now. Juwan doesn't like that.
Wagner inside Dickinson, and a foul on the floor. Travion Williams defending, picks up his second.
Now, I like Juwan getting after him. See, this is the one thing about Franz that gets him in trouble, in my opinion, Kevin. I love his demonstrative nature, but he gets down on himself, and it lets affect the next play.
He'll work his way to the line after that to the rim. Well, let's go back to Franz Wagner just a moment ago.
Let's take a look, and he's upset because he got the steal, and I think the coaching staff was like, man, what's going on? And they wanted him to pull it back. I think he got the steal and wanted to take a shot. The coaching staff got on him, told him not to, and he kind of pouted a little bit. But he got over it quickly enough.
Well, we had a conversation with his teammate Isaiah Livers about him earlier today, and he said he is as talented as anybody on this team. He can do it all. And he said, I tell him all the time, just play Franz ball. Right. Franz ball sounds like some sort of very odd game that you'd play as a child, or maybe you made it up in your backyard. But Franz ball is what Isaiah Livers says Franz Wagner needs to play. Play Franz ball.
That's right. Boy, the Michigan defense has produced now.
Here's Wagner. That one won't go, and the rebound snared by Ethan Morton. Morton end to end. No. Williams with the tip try, it won't go, but a foul on the floor. Wagner tied up inside with Travion Williams.
You notice what Michigan has done here in the last couple minutes, Kevin. They've turned up the pressure. They sped up the Boilers, forced them into several turnovers here. And the Boilers look out of sync offensively because of the pressure from the Wolverines.
Flips now to Hunter. In the paint, well short. trying to track down the loose ball. Loose on the floor. Michigan has it. Trying to get out of there with it is Brooks. The still tie-up on the floor. And now we've got the tie-up officially called, and Purdue will keep the possession. That was a scramble.
Well, I thought twice Eli Brooks was going to come up with this ball. There he has it. Gillis gets in the fray. Gets after it. Oh, a great hustle by both players. Makes me want to rub some Icy Hot on my knees, Kevin, and try to get out there and play a little bit. Get out there and get in the mix, baby.
16-point game. Big scramble for the basketball. And we've got a pause here with 12:58 remaining in this second half. They're going to look at the clock here. Just make sure they've got the clock all taken care of. Our three officials tonight: John Higgins, Kelly Pfeiffer, Paul Sells. Paul and Kelly at the monitor right there. Another look.
Yep. Oh, okay, the shot clock stopped. Then they restarted it, so they'll get it right. Well, right now, Purdue's got to settle down.
Shot clock.
They got to settle down to get the ball to Travion Williams like that. Don't wait for the double, just go.
You asked for it, there it is, and the bucket is good for Travion Williams.
Yeah, he is a security blanket for Purdue, especially with these freshmen being pressed into more action. They got to utilize their security blanket more. Don't make the home run play. Take care of the basketball and get into Williams.
It's been tough tonight for Williams. 3 for 12 from the floor, just 7 points. As Morton got tied up with Wagner inside, and Ethan Morton picks up the personal foul. And a turnover.
So right now, Purdue has got to make their move. This is a critical juncture of the game. We've referenced their ability to come back late in games, but I'm not sure you want to be inside of 10 minutes down double digits to Michigan. Because although they've coughed the rock up here a few times lately, I don't think that's going to be a trend that we're going to see the rest of the game.
And one of your best long-range shooters, Sasha Stefanovic, not available with COVID-19. That hurts an ability to make a comeback. Williams with 13 on the shot clock. Williams again to work with the hook. And you said it, Stephen, get back into your security blanket. And that's back-to-back trips down the floor that Williams has had good work in the post.
And you see what happens, Kevin, when he scores, Purdue can get set defensively. And if you can get a couple stops and keep going to the big fella, you're right back in the game.
Tip won't go off the miss. It's out of bounds, touched by Purdue. Michigan ball, timeout in West Lafayette. Travion Williams trying to heat up. He's got 9, but his team down 12. Michigan by 12, 11:34 remaining in this second half. Millions of kids nationwide are without their normal access to sports and play due to COVID-19. That's why Fox Sports and Good Sports are restoring play for kids in the programs that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. Text PLAY to the number on your screen to help keep kids in the game. Stephen Bardo, I'm Kevin Kugler. A 12-point advantage for Michigan. Keon Dolit-Shahi, our producer. Andrew Blaustein, our director. The entire FS1 crew on hand on a Friday night for some Big Ten basketball. Dickinson to a cutting Livers in the corner to Shaundi Brown. The open 3 falls, and the extra pass puts 3 on the board for the Wolverines.
You know what happened? Mason Gillis got caught at no man's land. He went to double team. He recognized that Livers was cutting. He tried to recover. His teammates had to cover for him, resulting in an open look.
Williams to work again against Dickinson. Lost the ball, gets it back. Williams, the hook short this time.
I thought that was a foul on that second release there by Williams, but I'll tell you what, Hunter Dickinson paying attention to the scouting report.
And there's a foul on this end going the other way back to Purdue.
Look at Gillis. He got caught going to the double team. He came back, but they had to rotate, leaving that corner pocket 3 open. And then watch this. He stays on that move right there. Dickinson does a really good job of reading the scouting report. And I thought there was contact there, but there wasn't. That was good defense.
He did get called for the foul on the other end. That's his 3rd. And so Dickinson to the bench. Brandon Johns Jr. on the floor now in the post, working against Williams. Hunter picked up by Johns on the switch. Hunter's jumper over him, no, and a foul is called. Travion Williams really working hard to get position in there, and Michigan whistled for the foul.
So Williams can get that 265-pound frame right underneath the bucket. He's going to have a chance against anybody. I don't care if it's Kofi Coburn, Luka Garza, Hunter Dickinson, doesn't matter. He is a grown man in that paint.
3rd foul on Wagner, and that moves Williams into double figures for the 12th consecutive game and the 14th time this year. He's got 10.
It's going to be interesting to see who Travion Williams will match up with. It more than likely be Brandon Johns Jr. Let's see how Michigan, see if they can utilize matchups.
Brown jumped out of his shoe there. In fact, the shoe's still off, and now one shoe on, one shoe off, and that shoe ended up in about the 5th row.
And Shawnee Brown's going to just be a decoy.
On the run, and a stoppage in play, and now he got to go shoe hunting. After Shawnee Brown lost this, you know, Brady and Rogers are playing in the NFC Championship game on Fox on Sunday. Shawnee Brown making a bid to a little quarterback play.
I like that. I like that. You know, now, Kevin, I know I'm old, man. What happened to high tops? Like, if you got high tops on, you don't get them they don't come off your feet. With low cuts, it's easy. Somebody steps on your foot and you come out of your shoe. With the high tops, a lot harder to do. Those are kind of sporty, though. I have to give them credit on that.
It is look over performance sometimes in the shoe game, Stephen Bardo.
Yeah, I'm sure you're correct, Kevin. You know, and I know you try to protect me from sounding like an old Geritol man on the air, but
not at all. Not at all. Embrace the age. Embrace it. Hey, you know what? At least they're not Chuck Taylors everybody's running around in out there.
Good point. Do they still make Geritol?
Nothing against those Chuck. I think they do. I think they do. I will know, being incredibly young, but someday I'll find out.
Oh, man.
9:50 remaining in this second half. Purdue trying to crawl back into this one, but Michigan has just been able to hold Purdue at arm's length for most of this ball game as Edey gets the home rim roll and has one more to come at the line.
That young man, I am impressed with him every time I see him play. And it's not like he's got a tremendous amount of production, but his numbers are pretty good tonight in the numbers that he's played. But he's so talented. Like, his follow-through is good. His footwork is good. He's got a really high basketball IQ. And he doesn't shy away from contact. I really like watching him play.
So a foul on Brandon Johns Jr. on the free throw, the second attempt. And so to the line now goes Mason Gillis. So both free throws good by Edey. Brown picks up a foul, and Gillis gets the front end of the 1-and-1 and gets another free throw. This is one way to get back in a game.
It certainly is, and I think you can tell, Kevin, the game has gotten a little bit more physical. Purdue's trying to close the gap here. They have matched some physicality of the Wolverines here.
Went right through the fingertips of two Boilermakers. That could have been a 5 or 6 point possession if they secure that rebound off the Gillis miss. Wagner trying to turn the corner, sees Edey in his way, and then throws a dart up off the back of the rim. Johns Jr. with the offensive rebound. Hesitation, finish.
Oh, man, that's the shot of the night. Off foot, one hand left, off glass, running. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a very difficult attempt that he may look easy.
He's got 11 to the other end where Ivey misses the 3. Wagner tracks down the loose ball, his 7th board.
See, Kevin, sometimes when you're a young player and you hit a big 3 to help your team win a game, and you start selling for those 3s a little bit too much. Well, Brooks going through, probing the defense, sees the big fella, goes off the left, off the glass. Eli Brooks, don't do it to him.
Let's look at tonight's drive of the game, sponsored by Hyundai.
Well, tightrope along the baseline, no look, pocket pass, delivers. Mike Smith getting past Zach Edey, drawing enough attention from Edey to allow Livers the airspace to finish at the rim. Nice job by Mike Smith.
Streak on the line for Mike Smith. 7 straight games with 6 assists or more. He only has 3 assists with 8:41 to play. Can you sense the tension and drama of the Smith streak on FS1 with 8:41 to go in this second half?
Yeah, he looks a little concerned over there.
Yeah, he really is. It's clearly on his mind.
Yeah. But think about how good Michigan has been defensively. We played almost 32 minutes and Purdue has 40 points.
As if on cue. Oh my goodness, Wagner, nearly the highlight of the season, but he could not put it down. Ivey on the other end has it cleaned up in the trail by Gillis.
Could this be a turning point in this game? Typically when Michigan goes and it looks like they're going to get a surefire 2, don't get it. Purdue comes back and scores. Can they rally from this play?
Bounce back out to Wagner, baseline open, finds Livers in the corner for the open 3. That won't go, and the rebound to Edey. Livers just his 2nd miss from behind the arc tonight.
Just because Trayon Williams is not in the game, they still need to go to Zach Edey. They need to get the ball inside. That's a bad pass.
Real bad pass. You had Edey with position against the smaller Brandon Johns Jr. Just couldn't get it to him.
I know he's 7'4", but you got to give him a chance on that pass.
There's Johns inside against Edey. That one won't fall, but he'll go to the line for a pair after foul number 1 on the Boilermakers freshman post. Purdue trying to rally at home, but down big to Michigan. One of the best defensive teams in the conference, Michigan, flexing its defensive muscle tonight, 57-42 over Purdue. And this Purdue team has been a very well-traveled basketball team. Just their 2nd home game since Christmas here tonight. But the road's been kind, Stephen Bardo, to Purdue. Wins at Indiana, at Michigan State, the win Tuesday at Ohio State. Some big wins away from home for this Boilermaker team.
And in that December 29th and January 2nd game, Kevin, at Rutgers, at Illinois, Purdue was right in those games. Had the opportunity to win, but with so many freshmen, they're learning on the fly. But we got a chance to talk to Matt Painter today. I asked him, have you ever had a team that's got this many freshmen that have improved on the road like this? And he pointed to our colleague, Robbie Humble's team. They were able to win some games on the road in the Big Ten with that group of freshmen. So anytime you get a group of freshmen that can be compared to Robbie Hummel, that's saying a lot.
That was that 2007-2008 Purdue team with Etwan Moore and Jawan Johnson and Robbie Hummel, all freshmen that year. They were 9-4 in non-conference play and then went 15-3 in the Big Ten that year, and 6 of those 15 wins in conference came on the road. And that's the team he compared this team to as far as their ability to win away from home, at least at the point in the year.
And that's an incredible stat, what you just said. And that's where Ivy needs to be. Putting pressure on the defense at the rim. Not settling for threes. Not saying he can't take them, but I think he needs to have much more at the rim.
Accelerate, eating the ball loose. Still loose, out of bounds. Last touched by, again, it'll belong to the Boilermakers.
And Wagner a little bit frustrated at time. Trying to put it on the deck and get to the rim, and going to get a chance to sit down and think about it.
And the turnover numbers up to 11 now for Michigan. 7 of those 11 turnovers, Stephen, in the second half. So it was an area they were improved on in the first half, but it's now the 8th double-digit turnover game in 9 conference games for Michigan.
And think about this. You mentioned 7 turnovers this half, and they're up 15 on the road against the hottest team in the Big Ten Conference right now. Tells you how good Michigan is.
Here's Ivy. Ivy can't get it to go. Travion Williams, first and second tips won't go. Third time's a charm for the Purdue big man.
And that persistence at the bucket. He does that well on the offensive glass.
Around the screen, and Brown took his eyes off that one, and there's a careless turnover, number 12 on the night for Michigan.
It's been somewhat of a frustrating night for Shondi Brown. You know, he's hadn't had a lot of things go his way, but fortunately for him and his teammates, they've been able to overcome that.
Ivy's pass tipped out of bounds by Isaiah Livers. When you're hot, Stephen Bardo, and when you're not, well, you're not. Shondi Brown's night has had some ups and downs, some blown tires, some tosses into the stands. Only 3 points tonight for Shondi Brown. What a find he has been, though, for the course of this year for this Michigan team, the transfer from Wake Forest. And what Michigan gives, Purdue gives right back with a careless turnover back to the Wolverines.
And both teams just being a little loose with the basketball here in the second half. And there's another one.
That went off the foot of Mike Smith, and it will be Purdue basketball.
So Jawan is keeping his composure there on the sideline, but he's concerned. You know, these are teams are very habit-driven. You want to get, even when you're up double digits on the road, you got to keep those good habits that got you that lead initially.
And we've got a foul, and it's going the other way. That's Travion Williams with his third. You were talking about habits, and we talked with Sadie Washington, assistant coach from Michigan, earlier today, and he said our habits have to be better than the other team's habits. That's one of the things they stress all the time. Our habits have to be better than the other team's habits. As Dickinson rolls to the rim, gets 2, and he'll go to the line for 1 more.
And you know what? He had the presence of mind to grab John Higgins, the official, because he bumped into him after the hit. Take a look. Big fella's got some diplomacy coming from the DMV area.
Dickinson and Williams, Howard refers to them as the DMV boys, DC, Maryland, Virginia.
Wow, the Michigan bench making up their own cheers on the road, man. You talk about some energy, and they're bringing it.
to Travion Williams, and he hammers it home.
And so I'm sure Purdue fans are wondering, like, why couldn't they do that more often? Well, Michigan's defense has had a lot to do with keeping them out of the paint on some of their more popular actions.
Another double-double for Travion Williams. 6th of the year, backing down his Livers. The turnaround swish. He's got 19.
Well, that's pretty. I mean, that's Isaiah Livers, I think, this year has done an excellent job of just taking what is available. He's not forcing the issue. And again, I've often said I think he's too unselfish. At that time, just a really nice fadeaway jumper.
Attacking down the left side of the lane, Eric Hunter with 8 points now. Purdue back within 14, but time a major factor for the Boilermakers. Here's Smith, tried to bounce it into the post. Eric Hunter off his foot and out of bounds and a timeout.
Well, Purdue would like to see a lot more of this. They haven't had success like that because of Michigan's defense primarily, and then Isaiah Livers getting to where he wants to on the floor.
Rob, thanks so much. Michigan has held a double-digit lead for the last 23 minutes, up 14 right now as we check our game summary. Sponsored by Progressive. Get slam dunk savings today. Isaiah Livers, 19 points. Purdue held to 34% shooting, 2 of 9 from 3. And that bottom note, Sasha Stefanovic out with COVID-19 protocols, tested positive earlier in the week, and that is a concern for Purdue moving forward. They'll be on an 8-day break after this game, but he'll miss the next 2 after tonight. Livers down the lane. He'll go to the line, looking for points 20-21 on the evening.
Michigan is so good at reading the double team. Livers cuts from the top of the key and they stay spaced. And so if you take Livers as a cutter, you're leaving a three-point shooter wide open. So you've got to pick your poison in that scenario.
Straight games in double figures for Isaiah Livers, and at 9, he has been outstanding. Not only this year, but since the start of last year, Stephen, he has missed 3 free throws total. He is 77 for 80 at the line since the start of last season.
Well, that's great concentration, and you can tell that he works on it. I think it's all repetition and confidence from the free throw line, and he is locked in.
Hunter bouncing to a cutting Newman. Tough shot. Rebound Dickinson.
I just think the length of Michigan really bothers teams. You see it on film when you're game plan against the Wolverines, but then when you get on the floor and you got Shondi Brown, Livers, Wagner, Dickinson, Brandon Johns Jr. All these guys are 6'5" or better, and they're just really tough to get around.
Well, they have Austin Davis back as well, another guy into the mix who brings that length and height in there. This is a tough cover for a lot of teams, and certainly tough to operate against them on the offensive end. Ivy knifing into traffic, and the blocking foul will send in Ivy to the line.
I give a young fella one thing, Kevin. He's fearless. I mean, if he sees an opening, there is no hesitation. He's going. He gets Brown off balance, and he explodes to the rim, trying to get around Isaiah Livers. And a lot of time in that scenario, when you're trying to break your fall, you instinctively put your hands down, and sometimes you can jam your hand or your wrist.
The last thing Jaden Ivey wants to deal with is more injuries. He had the injury in the offseason, had the foot injury, the stress fracture in his foot in high school. Missed 5 games at the start of this year. Just now starting to feel a little more comfortable in his role with this Purdue team. And Good to see him back up there and at the line looking for his second free throw.
Yeah, and I was really impressed with him being authentic after the Ohio State game and the emotions that have been built up and his frustration level and him being able to let all of that out. I thought that showed great maturity.
The miss after Michigan breaks the press. Hunter will bring it up the floor. 25 minutes for Michigan with a double-figure lead in this ballgame. Williams backing down against Dickinson in the paint. That hook won't go, and a rebound for Isaiah Livers, his 8th to go with 21 points.
But yet again, Michigan, one opportunity, clear off the defensive glass. Take your time getting into your set.
Here's Smith out to Livers, and Livers traveled with it. Turnover number 14 for the Wolverines.
And Purdue pressing on even missed shots now. Trying to speed up and get some more opportunities here.
Been a dominant defensive performance tonight for Michigan. No good at the rim. Livers another rebound. 52 points for Purdue. And Juwan Howard a minute 30 away from extending his unbeaten streak in this building. He was 3-0 as a player, 1-0 as a coach. And there aren't too many people that can say they're undefeated in 5 games at Mackey Arena.
Maybe former Purdue players, that'd be about it.
Yeah, that's about right. Livers on the run, no. Offensive rebound. Dickinson puts it back up and in. He's got 8. And Michigan by 16.
We've seen the Wolverines have impressive outings. I think they sent shockwaves through the league. They really handled Wisconsin in that first matchup. But I tell you what, anybody that knows Big Ten basketball, I don't care if there are no fans at Mackey Arena. When you can go into Purdue and play this well, especially on the defensive end, my goodness, this is a talented, talented team.
Yeah, they are poised for a long stay in the postseason. A nice blend of youth and experience. They defend, they have good offense, rebound, and really the turnovers. We asked Isaiah Livers, what's your weakness? What's this team's weakness? And that's the only thing he said. He said, look, our turnovers. We play fast, we try to run the other team down, but sometimes we turn it over too much.
Oh, Travion Williams took a shot.
They do a lot of things well. Yes, he did. And now a foul as Sean D. Brown tried to work out of traffic.
Well, Kevin, to expound on your point, let's take a look at Travion here on this rebound. There he is. And trying to get in the mix. Oh, he gets hit by his own teammate, Aaron Wheeler. But to expound on what you're talking about, Kevin, when you look at Michigan and you get these impact transfers, Mike Smith and Shawnee Brown Jr. Shawnee Brown Sr., Mike Smith grad transfer. These guys have a lot of experience, and so they can transfer that over to Michigan, even though they weren't playing in the Big Ten in their previous stints. They can still utilize that experience, and it has really fortified Michigan.
When you can get a guy like Sean D. Brown, who has been a scorer at Wake Forest, but has really embraced the role of being a defensive stopper here at Michigan, can add points if needed. You get Mike Smith, a veteran who can come in and take over a critical position, and you have your coach right away, and Juwan Howard saying, we expect him to be Simpson at the point guard spot. We expect him to be Mike Smith, and they've allowed him to grow into that role with this team. It's been a smart blend of transfers, young players, with the existing talent that Michigan had in place.
And Kevin, to even go further on that, Isaiah Livers, in our talk with him today, they credit Juwan Howard for having a family-first approach. And when you can develop that kind of consensus and that kind of camaraderie early, during COVID, even in the offseason, you can see the results, and you can tell this team really cares about one another.
Yeah, they had no options. As Isaiah Livers told us earlier, it's like a ghost town in Ann Arbor. If we wanted to hang out with somebody, it was going to be the guys on our team. And that's your choices. So you had to like each other because that was the only chance you had at any kind of a social life. Back out for a three from Wheeler. Won't go. Purdue 2 for 12 from 3. Michigan going to dribble this one out. And the Wolverines with an impressive win, leading from start to finish in this one. Purdue never led. And the Boilermakers fall at home for the first time this season, 70-53. That's as impressive a win as you'll see on the road at Mackey Arena, and Michigan took it to a very good Purdue Boilermaker team.
Yes, they did. And we talked about Purdue being the hottest team in the Big Ten, coming in with 4 straight victories, but it didn't matter. Michigan was locked in and focused, and everybody had a hand in this victory. Impressive road victory.
Score Michigan 70, Purdue 53. Next, more college hoops. Go State takes on Air. For Stephen Barber. Thanks for watching. The 17 sent it to Rob Stone at our Fox Studios, Los Angeles.